Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Optimistic Orbit, where today we're asking, what does my love life look like if I stay on my current path? And today we've got 3 piles for you to choose from. Have a little look. Pause the video at any time that you want to see which energy draws you to a pile. And the timestamps will be down below. As always, we've got some different oracle cards for you to look at. So I've pre-chosen those, shuffled and popped them in each of the piles. And then we've also got a little crystal for each of you as well, if you'd like to choose that way. So pile number 1, we're going to use the Light Seer deck for you. And if you're drawn to this pile or this crystal, this is a piece of pyrite. So pile number 1, if you feel drawn to that, that's your pile. Pile number 2, we have got the Pause Tarot and a lovely piece of rose quartz. And pile number 3, we're going to be using the Witch's Tarot, and your stone is a piece of green jade. So when you've chosen your pile, just go to the time in the video. At the end of today, I'm actually going to be adding a journal prompt for each of the piles. So stay tuned for that. They're going to come right at the very end of the video. Based on each of your readings, I'm going to give you a question that might just help you move a little bit further forward with your love life. That comes from looking particularly at our oracle card selection. Okay, right. See you in a bit. Okay, welcome pile number 1 to your reading on what your love life is going to look like if you continue on your current path. You chose the pyrite. And can you see that if I put that there? I'll just put that there. We're going to have a little look at your oracle cards first. So we're using the Earth Alchemy Oracle, and we've also got the Wild Child Oracle and the Law of Positivism one. So let's have a little look at this one first. Might need to delve into the book for this one. Astrophyllite and Ginkgo, Star Elders, Signs and Symbols, Divine Blueprints, Amenti. Ooh, this is going to be nice. Signs and Symbols, Divine Blueprints. So, ooh, is this going to be someone that you are divinely meant to meet in this life? Rainbow. Yeah. I think that's just answered that question. I think this is definitely the soul contract in terms of the next love of your life, or the current one, if that is the situation for you. I deserve to receive and give love. We've got like the flower of life here. Almost looks like a tour. Reminds me of the tour of Glastonbury. I wonder if it is. The light shining through. There's a lot of spiritual energy coming through, isn't there, in these cards? It's almost like this relationship, this love life is coming. If you're not in a relationship, then this is going to be happening. This is meant to be coming your way. This is like divinely timed, and is a relationship that's supposed to like help you in this lifetime, or certainly deliver some important lessons. I deserve to receive and give love. Right, let's have a little look at this card before we move on. So I'm fascinated by that, because it does kind of say Star Elders, doesn't it? Which really aligns with spirituality that we're getting through, the universal connections that we're getting through in the other cards. So let's have a little look. Right, I might just stop the reading here while I find the right page and then come back to you. So you may be going through a restful period of integration and healing, or maybe you're stuck in a rut and cannot move forward as fast as you want to. This crystal has come to tell you that it's time to wake up. You have work to do with your stellar guides. No more living in the slow lane. This period requires accelerated connection to everything around you. So it says here, this brings like a mental clarity And those who are creative and right-brain thinkers interbalance with the left side. Such is its strength in supporting mental clarity. It can assist you in developing telepathy. So you might be kind of connecting with your guides here to bring this person into your life if they're not already in your life. One of the first words it spoke was honesty. It asks us to be honest with ourselves and others. Communication is key. Clear thoughts and clear words. Well, that's all rather positive, isn't it? So definitely a connection here is going to be happening. And if you, on your current path, it sounds like you've got to just start putting yourself out there a little bit more if you are not in a relationship and you would like to be. I mean, we can all relate to that, can't we? Where we just kind of, well, let's face it, sometimes being just having to worry about yourself is actually quite nice, isn't it? And we can get a little bit lazy, or maybe we're just not finding the right person through certain channels, and it might be just thinking, okay, you've got to try a different way. Put yourself out there. Maybe you're not putting yourself out there, pile number one. Ooh, did I just see? I thought I did. Do you know what? Let's have a little look. Wow, where would that come from? Dignified dragon, honour, good fortune, individuality, fearless danger in the flame, ignite the passion from within my soul. Yeah, I think you're ready. I think have you been on your own for a little while now, pile number one? And you're kind of ready for this. But we've got to get out of that funk, that rut. You know, if you've been staying in your gin jams on the sofa on a Friday night, it's not going to get you meeting anybody very quickly. All right, pile number one. What does their love life look like if they stay on their current path? Okay, we're going to pick 6 of these, so I've got 3. And we'll pick a few more. When I go back, did it? You'll notice I don't take the one from the bottom because my hand, I think it's just the way my fingers move, so it looks like it's coming out, but in actual fact it's just the way my fingers move. So if you see me ignoring that bottom one, it's for a reason. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. Love life, please. For pile number 1. Okay. All right then, let's have a little looky. Just going to move you a little bit out the way there. Okay. So, can you see those? Let me just bring that all down a bit. Is that better? Yeah, okay. Page of Pentacles. Ooh, bit of youthful energy going on here. It kind of suggests, from everything that we've kind of got here to begin with, is that maybe you've just spent a lot of time setting yourself up. As you know, this is real great energy in the Page of Pentacles, in that, you know, you're kind of putting yourself on different rungs of the ladder, whether it's career-wise, whether it's home-wise, setting yourself up a nice little life for yourself. We've got lots of pentacle energy here. I think you've been busy working. This is all about the physical kind of stuff. You may be just setting yourself up at home, maybe even trying to put a down payment on a mortgage. It might just be that you're trying to just create a life in the physical world that just gives you a bit more comfortable, gives you a bit more stability. And so you might have been just neglecting your love life side of things. Maybe you weren't ready for someone. Maybe you didn't want to meet someone. Maybe you just wanted to really concentrate on getting all your ducks in a row in terms of your job or your finances, or being just more settled in some way. Because it suggests that there are people around you here that are, and these could be something like flatmates. It could be just friends and family. could be work colleagues. And they've been, you've been aligning with people who kind of have been on the same sort of path as you. But this is suggesting here that I'm wondering whether on your current path, the person, because this is saying, this is a divine timing thing. This is kind of like someone you are meant to have met or meant to be meeting. And I kind of feel that you're not going to have to try an awful lot here for them to come into your life. You're not going to have to do the whole kind of doing 3 or 4 dating apps to be able to scroll through loads of different options. I think this person's just going to naturally kind of appear in your life because and it's going to be through the people you kind of mix with on a day-to-day basis, or a friend of a friend, or something of that nature. But there is, so you could have been slumping on the sofa all this time and not wanting a relationship, but secretly deep down you've really kind of like thought, oh, it'd be nice to actually have somebody. But luckily for you, par number one, you're really not going to have to try too hard, because I think they're going to come into your life regardless. It might be a chance meeting in the coffee shop. Who knows? It could be someone that you work with, or somebody who, I don't know, maybe helps you move your boxes up the stairs to your new abode. I don't know. There's going to be it's going to be potentially a chance meeting. It's going to be something of that nature. So on your current path, I don't think you're going to have to do too much, because whether you like it or not, there's someone's going to appear here, and it's going to be a bit of a bam situation. Whoa. And they're going to come in with some big love. There's some big love energy coming through in the King of Cups, and this is somebody who is very emotionally stable. They're not about the dramas. They can be a very supportive, very grounding energy, but they are big with heart. Big with heart. So this is going to be, I have a feeling this is like a big love potentially coming into your life. Someone who's going to really make either shake up your life. There's a kind of, definitely kind of, oh gosh, my brain has gone as I'm looking for a specific word, but I can't think of it at the moment. But there's a definite energy of having this person was going to always come into your life. This is meant to be. This is meant to be. For whatever reason, the lessons that you learn together, the things that you can gain from each other, all of that is coming through very nicely already. And we're only on the top layer. Okay, the star. Lovely. Oh, yeah. Again, see, look at this connection we have with the universe and the light. Your higher self potentially is looking after you here as well. We've got those divine blueprints. This is, I feel like you kind of like, this is potentially within your soul contract as well. You kind of decided this before you both came down onto this plane, that you were going to have this relationship. This is going to be part of both of your journeys. And the star is all about hopes and dreams. It's also about gaining things, taking things that you really want to manifest into your life and holding them close to you as well. That's in terms of what we're talking about here. Look at her. She's holding on to this piece of string that's connecting her with the divine, with the universe. And so, yeah, this is mine. I own it, and I'm not going to let it go very easily. I think you realise how good this is for however long it might last, and it's looking a really nice relationship. A love life here is coming your way, or it's just started. So if you've just kind of come into a relationship, I do feel that this person is going to show you, however unsure you might be, or however quickly this came about, they're gonna they're gonna they're gonna they're gonna show you they're gonna show you some love. They're gonna show you that actually this needs to be nurtured. This isn't about someone who likes to chase and is just going to keep on chasing until you kind of give in and say yes. You know, it's not that energy at all, really. This is more about someone who really sees your worth, who really sees your heart and your soul, and knows that this could go a long distance. Temptation, yeah, I think you're going to be tempted. You've got to think about this. You're going to be tempted, pile number one, to think, oh, I always get this feeling of, because we've got the page here and things, you know, they've got that vibrance, you've got that energy, you've got that that get up and go in this area of your life, whether it's career or home or I don't know, you've kind of got settled and you've got lots of dreams and hopes. Love, yeah, it would be nice, but it wasn't something specifically that you were, I don't know, you're like, yeah, it's okay, but there are other things in my life that are just as important. And I kind of feel like you might be tempted into just going, oh, do you know what? Not right now. Not right now. Yeah, I'm in this bit of a funny situation where you might make excuses for yourself, or you might have doubts about it, thinking, oh, why? I'm just about to get this promotion, or I'm just about to move house, or I'm just about to do X, Y, and Z. What bad? You know, you're going to see it as almost bad timing, and then you could miss out on this opportunity. You know, it might be that you're introverted, you're shy, you find the whole kind of small talk, finding those first few dates just really kind of just awkward and horrible, and there's a potential here for you to sack it off before you've even given it a try. So it's just a bit of advice there from the universe saying, yeah, on your current path, they're going to come into your life. There is someone that you're going to meet, but you've got to do a little bit of thinking here and give it a try, give it a go. They might not necessarily be, you know, there might not be that lust or that love at first sight feeling about them. You might find them a bit weird or just not your normal type. But don't get drawn into that superficial side of things. This person has real potential to benefit you in your life. Oh, the world, yeah, new chapter. So this almost feels like you kind of come full circle, and it's saying here, yeah, okay, you may have still a lot to do in your career or a job or other areas of your life, but it's saying that's fine and dandy. You need to think now about anything that's you've done so far. It isn't going to go away, but there's a new chapter starting here. And again, it's to do with potentially bringing in other people into your life, into your love life. You know, you've got the world at your feet here. You know, we marry this up as a clarifier with the King of Cups. They could be your world. This could be a great love, or the love. It could be. That's a great reading. Ooh, I'm really tempted. I'm going to take another one. I'm really tempted to take one more. Let's have a little look and see. Pile number one, about this love life of yours. Ooh, okay. Six of Wands, yeah. Oh, wow. Do you know what? You're gonna go, this has got potential to go the distance. This is a long-term relationship, a long-term love. People around you are celebrating. They are celebrating, thinking, do you know what? That person is so great for her, or that person is so great for him. That is amazing. It's like it was meant to be. Well, it was meant to be. It was meant to be. And it's almost giving you a little bit of a new lease of life, I feel. You know, actually, you think you were okay without it, but in actual fact, having someone to share your life with here has just meant you've gone up a notch, I think, in your happiness, in the happiness stakes. And people are really celebrating in this. They're really happy for you. So maybe there's a few of you here who have been just kind of putting love on the back burner, being too busy with other things, or find love in your friendships, and you thought love might have been over and done with for you. No, 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 no. This is saying, on your current path, there is a match here. You're not going to have to do much at all here, pile number one. Just make sure you see them. Just make sure you see them for who they really are and the potential that this relationship has. Get past those first few awkward dates. Get to know them, and you will suddenly realise that those thoughts you had of going back to sit on your sofa because it was all just too much trouble, you shouldn't have listened. You shouldn't listen to that. You need to move forward, because look, new chapter, celebration, person with a big heart here. Right, lovely. Well, that's a great reading. Pile number one, if that resonated with you, think about dropping a like. Pop a comment below to tell me a little bit more about this. Maybe this person's appeared in your life already, and you're seeing that potential we've been talking about. Anyway, thanks for joining me. See you next time. Bye. Hello, pile number two, and welcome to your reading. And I've got some oracle cards that we're going to have a little look at in a minute. You chose the Rose Quartz and the Pause Tarot deck. And we're looking into today about a viewer. Stay on your current path. Whereabouts is your love life going to take you? So we'll start with the Earth Oracle card and what that's got to tell us. And there we are. Can you see that? If I put that there, let me move that over a little bit. So we've got Herkimer Diamond and Snowdrop, Resurrection, Commitment, Purification, Devotion. Wow. Are we going to be, have we already found our love? Is the person that you are with at the minute actually going to be the person you commit to? I forgive and, this is the Law of Positives Index, sorry. I forgive and release the past to heal my life. Okay, so this is sort of suggesting that with the moon, that things have been potentially hidden, or you've hidden things away. I'm getting the sense here, pile number two, that maybe some things have been holding you back from either starting a relationship because you had some wounds from previous relationships, or even wounds from your youth, your childhood, that have they've given you maybe some trust issues. They've maybe given you some blockages, for instance. And this card is saying that it's asking you to, once you've addressed that, then potentially the people that you bring into your life are aligned with that same energy that you have. Or the person that you are currently with may well be holding back on committing because they sense that you're not ready, or there's something that's just stopping you from fully committing to them. And it might be that there is some work for you to do on releasing some old wounds, and when you do, they're going to commit fully to you, or you commit fully to them. Could be a two-way street, that, couldn't it? What have we got? And we've got, from the Wild Child, we've got Slumber. Can you see that? I'm going to put that there. There we go. Slumber. No, it's not So 20, no, 35. 3 and 5 is 8. Karmic return. New strength and vitality. Higher wisdom. Maybe you're going to be doing some pausing and reflecting on this. Maybe there's been someone in your life who's maybe been a bit on and off. It could be a bit of an on and off relationship. That might be your current situation. And it might just be that you need to sort of double down a little bit, have some time to yourself. Not all answer their texts all the time. Just give yourself some space to see what it is that's kind of stopping you from moving forward with it, because I get the impression that maybe they want to commit, or you want to commit, but the other person is the sort of, really not, I don't know, there's something, I'm really not sure about this, and I feel it's something from your past that's kind of, that maybe is blocking you from putting everything into it. You know, you might feel relationships trap you a bit. So, yeah, and that can obviously stop us from even kind of, you know, inviting that energy in the first place to our lives. You know, if you're single and this resonates with you, it might be just time to think, okay, I know I've got a wound around life, love. I know I've got a wound around relationships, and unless I do something about it, unless I start kind of doing some work around that, or digging a little bit deeper into my inner thoughts, then, you know, I'm going to keep attracting the same kind of person, or I'm going to bring into my relationships things that I always bring into my relationships, and I'm kind of done with that energy. But you're only done with that energy if you actually face it head on. And if you do, look, resurrection. You come back. You come back as this kind of person with all the clarity that we're wanting, and you're ready. You're ready for that relationship to commit. You know, you don't feel trapped by the fact that, you know, a love that comes into your life is just going to make you feel claustrophobic, if you like. I almost get that sense from you. Okay, right, pile number 3. Let's choose 6. We've got 1 at the minute. Ooh, 2. Okay, we'll go with it. 4. So on their current path, what does their love life look like? I feel like I've given, because it's such a general reading, I've given you lots of different scenarios already. But, you know, obviously take what resonates with you today. Pile number 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. Okay. All right then. So we have the 8 of Cups. Okay. The Knight. Oh, interesting. The Knight of Cups. And the Queen of Cups. Lots of cups. Okay. And lots of emotions running strong here. So the 8 of Cups is leaving behind what you had set up. So this could be you leaving behind a relationship that's no longer working for you, or a life that you have spent a long time building up and you're like, I'm done. I cannot put into that any more energy, time, commitment. And you've already made the decision to walk away. This is you going here. And you don't know where you're going. You know, these mountains suggest there's going to be obstacles ahead. Some things are still hidden here by the moon, but you're striving forward. You've already made that decision, and that path is leading you somewhere new. So I wonder whether this could be a relationship that you've had, or you are currently in, that you are walking away from. The Knight of Cups is it's really kind of, there's forward momentum with any of the knights, and the Knight of Cups is this real big love bunny. So are you walking away from, I feel like you might be walking away from a relationship where you are spent, and that your love, you feel you've got a really good, I think, you know, I forgive and release the past to heal my life. I think actually looking at this is almost where this is going. Well, I think you're committing to yourself here. I think you're committing to yourself. I'm done. You know, I want to be in a relationship where I'm valued, where I have somebody who is in equal with me, who values the same things, who respects my time, gives me the boundaries that I need, all of those things. And I do wonder whether you are suddenly realizing that there's a bit of a pattern perhaps in relationships where the same thing keeps repeating itself, but you are someone who's so full, you've got so much love to give, that you're moving, you haven't given up on love, far from it. But I think you're starting to realize that if you want a committed relationship and the person to commit to you, that you also need to work on some stuff. You know, we very often bring into our relationships people from our past, an energy that we were used to when we were younger, you know, or a conditioning, if you like, about what love was. And I think maybe that perhaps has not served you very well in relationships, and you see that pattern playing out, but you have recognized that you are walking away and you're starting to think about doing something about it, even though you're ready, you know. And I think that's, you've done it with a big purpose, because you're like, right, I really want to find somebody. I really want to share this love, because you're quite I feel just like you've got so much to give somebody, but you just don't want to repeat the past. You don't want to repeat those same patterns. And here we are with the Queen of Cups saying you're going to definitely do something about this, because you're sitting here knowing your worth, but also are quite emotionally astute. You know, queens have a lot of wisdom, and here you are. I think you've worked through it, but you needed to kind of be on your own to be able to then think, okay, yeah, that's where I've been going wrong. And it necessarily, you know, you're finding out a lot about yourself, and what you want from relationships, what boundaries you want to put in place, but also you don't want to be that same person, because you want to draw someone into your life who is a match for you. And this is saying that you're going to do that work. Seven of Pentacles, yeah, so you're reflecting. You were doing a lot of reflecting on your life and on what you had put into your relationships, and what they looked like, and what they gave you, and what they didn't give you, and what was there. You know, you're looking at where those reoccurring problems were coming from. So there's a definite look at, you're looking really kind of inwardly here, and also having a good old look at what you want moving forward and what you don't want. Oh, an ending. Yeah. So there we go. Eight of Cups, you decided you're going. This is the confirmation that it ends. It has ended. So whoever this was, or whatever, it might, you know, if you're single and you're not in a relationship, it might just be a mindset about love that you're letting go. It might be a particular mindset about the gender that you are in relationships with. You know, people do sometimes have a habit of saying, oh, you're tarring everybody with the same brush. But here you are, you've ended it. You've gone, nope, enough. I'm getting out of this rut. I'm getting out of this relationship, potentially. I'm getting out of this mindset that keeps me that keeps me going round and round in circles. But you are going to do the work for sure. And we have got, oh, the Chariot, lovely. So there we go, clarifier for the Queen of Cups. You are moving forward. You are doing the work. You are ready to commit to yourself. You are ready to set your intentions in what you want from your love life. So if you carry on your current path and don't deal with some of these patterns that keep reoccurring, or these mindsets that you've got about lovers, about relationships, then it's really not. It's just going to keep ending and repeating, ending and repeating. This is saying, do the work, reflect about what it is that you want from a relationship, what conditioning you have brought forward from your own childhood that might be impinging on your relationships. And when you do that, the cycle ends. The cycle ends, and you, with that heart full of love to give, actually ends up being a very wise person about what it is that you can bring to a relationship, what you don't want now moving forward. And you're going to, this is you kind of going out there and getting it. You're kind of putting yourself back out there again by the end of all of this. You're ready for commitment. You're rising again. This is you. This is the new you, the new loved up you with a new outlook on what relationships can give you and what they should be about for you. So on your current path, there is potential for you to really align with somebody if that's what you want, pile number 2. But before you do that, you've kind of got to get rid of some of these old wounds and old patterns that have kind of just been reoccurring. Okay, well, that's your reading, pile number 2. I hope that's resonated with you. If it has, drop a like. Maybe you feel like subscribing to the channel. If you're into animal science at all, maybe check out the animal science playlist. If you're like me and you look at reoccurring signs from nature, that might be something for you to have a little look at as well. Or I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading on what your love life looks like if you continue on your current path. And you chose this lovely piece of green jade. Pop that there. And we chose 3 oracle cards. So we're going to look at the Earth Alchemy card first. And it says, Fairies' orders: rest, replenish and release guilt. We'll look at the meaning of that in a second. Fruit of knowledge. And here we go. I have a healthy and stable foundation in my life. Okay. Okay, let's have a little look at the alchemy card. There's replenish and release guilt. So that's an interesting one to start with, isn't it? Have you been holding on to anything that's stopping you from gaining maybe in your love life? Let's have a little look. So the fairy folk can be quite adamant when they wish to be. They will not stop until you listen. Whether it's a poke from a mischievous pixie or a grumble from a gnome, please listen to them now, otherwise you will have some visitors. Resting is an important part of your spiritual growth, and one that we overlook all too often. It's the period before expansion. It is the in-breath, the period of integrating and awakening. If you look at it this way, you may allow yourself to do it. Release any guilt you may be holding around taking time out for you. As flowers bloom from your body, you glow, you transform into light as the crystals at your feet transfer a high vibrational light into your field. So yeah, you've got to take time out. Why are you taking time out, pile number 3? I have a healthy and stable foundation in life. Maybe that's why. Maybe you need Maybe you've just come out of a relationship. Maybe you had a very big significant love in your life, which you have yet to heal. You know, are you somebody, I'm getting the feeling here, pile number 2, and be honest with me here, are you someone who's a little bit codependent? Because I'm getting the feeling that you need to have a little bit more more self-love, more love for yourself. Because if you can do that, rest and replenish, forgive yourself. You may be putting all of this on you from previous loves, that you think you are the problem, or that you were the one to cause the breakdowns. It's saying, actually, no, release that, forgive yourself, give yourself a bit of self-love, because you need to give yourself this healthy and stable foundation to move forward in your life. And that's the knowledge, isn't it? That's the knowledge that you can take with you. And I feel like on your current path at the minute, you're almost like on the rebound, or maybe you're in a rebound relationship as we speak. Maybe you're going on lots of dates when actually you're not over the last person, or you're still reeling from a very significant break from a very big love, and you're trying to fill that cup, and you're looking to other people to fill that cup for you, when in actual fact this is saying you need to take stock first, because codependency is only going to attract the wrong person for you. You need a healthy and stable foundation in your life to be able to attract the people that actually are going to benefit you. Okay. Okay, pile number 3. So I just had to stop there for a second. My storage was a bit full again. I'm going to have to get better at doing that storage. Okay, so pile number 3. What does your current path say about where your love life is at? Whoop. 3. Okay, we'll have 3 more. So if you stay on your current path, what's your love life going to look like? I'll try and do this for people who are single as well as people who are maybe in a relationship. I'll just try and take what the cards give me, really, but I also try and make it a little bit more generic. So take what resonates for you, pile number 3. That one. There we go. 2 more. Oh, what one was that? That one. Let's try one more. There we go. Okay, right then. Knight of Swords and the World. Ooh. Okay, and the Ace of Pentacles. Right then. So we were saying here about you kind of maybe being someone who needs to have a bit of self-love, release a bit of guilt about something. And the King of Swords is very much a logical person when he appears in a spread, but he has this huge great big suit of armor on him, like he's kind of protecting his heart. You know, he's almost in his head rather than his heart. And maybe you're overprotecting it. Or maybe you're protecting it because something's just ended here. Because the World is about the ending of one cycle and the beginning of another. It's that card that says, you know, that was all very well and good. That last relationship, maybe. So even if you're single or you're not single, think back to the last key relationship that you had, because I think this is talking a little bit about how that relationship gave you some very deep experiences that you've kind of brought into your current situation, and you needed to have gone through that in order to move forward. And the King of Swords is suggesting here that maybe your heart's a little bit closed off, and it could be because you've got guilt around the way you've behaved in previous relationships, and you've brought that, you're bringing that into potentially a new one, or you realize that you're not ready yet. You need to reset, you need to replenish, because you don't, your heart's not ready to give again. But something ended here, and you're not necessarily licking your wounds, but there's almost like a sense of shame about it, or you're feeling sorry about the situation, and particularly from what you did, or what you perceive as having been your fault that it ended. I do kind of feel that energy is still around you, whether you're single or whether you're in another relationship, So if you've gone into a rebound relationship, pile number 3, be careful, because unless you've actually taken some time out to do that, it's not going to be very fruitful at all for either of you. But the Ace of Pentacles suggests, this is interesting that it's next to the World, because this suggests new beginnings. So I think the advice here is, before you leap, before you make that move, or maybe you've got someone in mind. If you're single, maybe there is somebody on the horizon that you're thinking, oh, I'll have a piece of that. But before you do, I think you could really do with just kind of making sure that your heart is fully in it. That you're not just doing it because you want to feel that love and affection from somebody. We can get into relationships, if we're not careful, where we protect our hearts so fiercely that we're asking the other person to do all the work for us and to show us that love, because we can't show it for ourselves, and we're trying to get too much from one person, and actually you can sap their energy, and the relationship is dead in the water before it's almost begun. But this is suggesting, do that. Set yourself a nice, healthy, stable foundation by resetting, replenishing, releasing any guilt. Do it. It's having self-compassion. Do some healing, because a new beginning is about to happen. Yeah, definitely. Oh God, it was chaotic. Yeah, this is definitely old relationship wounds here. You had a traumatic break here that wasn't built on very strong foundations. So again, I'm coming back. I know I keep coming back to that codependency pile number 3, but it's really keeps coming into my mind that, when the tower crumbles, because it wasn't on very strong foundations in the first place. And I feel like the energies were just not there. If one person in the relationship is too reliant on the other, or too giving, and the other person is doing all the taking, it's never going to work, is it? It's the resentment sets in pretty quickly. So there had to be that ending. But good news is that we're on a new trajectory here, if we can do a little bit of releasing of the guilt. There we go. Yeah, exactly that. Do that. Look what's around the corner. Life looks really good. This is just fulfillment. This is accomplishment in your family goals, in your heart. So this is coming almost full circle here. You've just got to come out of that come out of that pattern of inequality in your relationships, because when you've done a bit more self-love, you'll meet someone who slots in beautifully, and it could be a real love match. It could be a real love match on the horizon. Remember, this is not just an ending, but this is the start of a new beginning. It had to go because look what's coming in its place. A new beginning that is abundance and fills your cup up fully. Could even be, I mean, this is the card of like family and legacy. This is like the, look at what I've accomplished in life. Oh, it's a real very strong turn of events there, isn't it? Ah, 10 of Pentacles. There we go. So yeah, this it's funny what we're saying about family and legacy. They join up very nicely together there, because this is about you being abundant in putting down some strong roots for the future and for the generations that follow. So this could sort this out, get yourself some self-love, open up your heart, take what you can from that very, very strong and emotional lesson and move forward. And when you do, and when you find that person, and you'll know, it might not be the next person, might be not the next 3 or 4 dates even, but certainly very soon, that you'll know, because you'll just click, and it has real potential to go the distance. Real potential to go the distance, because these are both cards about family and generations and making a life for yourself that is abundant, that is happy, and you're just loving life in these 2 cards. So if this has not ended just yet and you're in the midst of all this horror, it's going to get better, pile number 3. It is going to get better, but please, like we say, build that healthy and stable foundation by forgiving yourself, by showing yourself a bit of compassion, and just not jumping in with both feet to the next person that comes along. Take your time. Know what it is that you bring to a relationship and what you can give to a relationship, and what past patterns you've learned from by just, you know, taking the time to replenish your cup, because you can't give if your cup is empty, can you? And I kind of feel that maybe that's where you're at, or you're going through at the minute, but everything looks very rosy there. So yeah, I hope that's resonated with you, pile number 3. If you've enjoyed this reading, please give it a like. Comment below as well if there's anything specifically that you thought you could take away from this, and think about subscribing to Optimistic Orbit. I'm going to do more pick a card readings, and you might even want to delve into the animal signs playlist, which I'll just pop a link at the end of the video. Anyway, thanks for joining us. See you again. Bye. Welcome everybody to the journaling prompt section for today's reading. If you want to take a screenshot so that you can come back to it later, that might be a nice idea. So let's start. Pile number 1. Where have I been withholding love from myself or others out of fear? Write one specific moment recently where you felt unworthy of love or held back from giving it. Draft yourself a short letter or affirmation to yourself, starting with I am worthy of, that you can read daily this week. Pile number 2. Your journal prompt is, what specific memory or story from my past am I still carrying that blocks my future commitment? Describe the story you tell yourself about a past relationship. How does it limit you today? Then list 3 small things that you can do symbolically to let go of that story. Perhaps it's deleting a photo. After each action, simply say, I release this. Pile number 3. Your journal prompt is, What would it look like to treat myself with the same care I treat others? Pause for 30 seconds. Close your eyes and notice where you feel drained in your body. Write down 3 things that you can stop this week to create a space for rest. Think of a way that you've been hard on yourself about love or relationships. Write a short letter to yourself offering the same compassion you'd give to a friend in your situation. I hope you've enjoyed the addition of the journal prompts section. If you have, let me know in the comments. Have a good week. See you next time.